Hour number one of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, RKW, here on 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045. Breaking down Titans OTAs with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh making the show happen. What did we see yesterday? Before we get to the specifics on differences between the old regime and the new, that is going to be a big topic of conversation today. Just from the broad sense, what stuck out?
What stuck out? I said this to a buddy of mine yesterday. Was asking me what I saw. I was like, "What did you think?" I was like, "Man, this may sound corny, but if y'all ever seen the movie Drumline, with Nick Cannon,
I actually
in it,
like that movie.
Yeah, I like that movie too. It's actually got a good theme in it with what I saw, and it just popped out to me yesterday. It was one band, one sound.
You said that to me.
I told
with
you that
movement
yesterday.
during the drill.
One thing you won't have to worry about is everybody moving the exact same way. Not like robots, but in the sense of technique. Like with how they attack an opponent is one band, one sound. They move the exact same. They hit the sled the exact same time. Everything that they did yesterday was it looked like he was building soldiers over there. Is essentially what you have. I call it the 45 minutes of hell, too, with how Bill Callahan's individual is. And how it works with the O-line is this. It's not like you can go block and then catch passes and then also run the ball. Like, no, it was all drill work. And truthfully, that's what I think the big advantage of OTAs is you have the ability to break down and slow down, because that 45-minute time limit is a very long time to work on run, pass, and just combination blocks too.
And you mean that specifically on individual and positional work?
Yes,
not
100%.
Team, not 11 versus 11 for people who don't know how practice works.
This is all offensive line work, working on technique. So they were doing a drill yesterday where they had a long sled. It's I'm sure you can see it on tape. This is what I was telling Kayla.
Drill?
Yeah, it's a shoulder drill. It's basically working on gap scheme, moving the defensive lineman over to the offensive lineman. So what they would do is I would go right step, right, left, and hit the pad and move up to the second level. And they were going in pairs of two. And so they were going in twos with this. And every time one hit the pad, both of them hit the pad at the exact same time. It was pop.
Yeah.
Pop. Every single time.
I got video of one of them. I think I posted when you were telling me that.
And all it does is it set the precedent for this is how we move people around. And there may have been one or two guys that may not have hit the pad at the exact same time, but everything they're doing is in combinations and at the same time as one another, and that's what I saw. And not just that, too. So I've always, when I learned what good offensive line play and practices look like, it is nonstop so much that the coach somewhat tires you out, so that, hey, if you come out there and you're not ready to practice, well, he has no sympathy for stopping, is what I realized with Coach Callahan. If you're tired, so what? Let's keep going. If you're having a bad day, so what? We got to go work hard. And that's one thing that I'll always correlate to where Coach Munchak was with us too, was if you're having a bad day, if you slow, if you sluggish, well, you won't be by the time we get done with individual. So by the time they go to teamwork, they're ready to get away from Coach Callahan so much that everything they learn carries over to drill work, as I'm sure is what's happening too. As far as seeing Bertha and Olga at work, the uniqueness about that drill right there is the pad in the front, if you watch, it has a big old spring in it. So it moves and bounces around like a defensive lineman. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing about it. I think all of the guys can move it and lift it and push it. But if you push it too high, which means you're overextended in your blocking, then it stops. So what it also allows you to do, because it has a spring in it, is redrop your hips and get started again. So you're getting a 2-for-1. If you mess up, you don't have to stop going. Just lower your hips and continue to drive through. And that's something that I saw all the guys were doing yesterday. Even, JC, as strong as he is, it would go too high. He'd have to sink his hips back down and drop it and continue to block the pad again. It was all technical. It was super unique. And it was everything they did was football related. It wasn't as if they're just, I said to somebody yesterday, it's not like they're just flopping on the ground and saying, hey, we're just over here working hard. No, everything they did, you can tell it goes in line with what the offense is going to look like, what the offensive line technique is going to look like, and what their footwork is going to be required of them play after play. You don't have to worry about them being in bad spots, is the way I see this operating with them. And then another cool thing was this too. An individual, because you're going so fast with what he's asking them to do, he's using guys against one another too. And if you don't go hard, he's going to call you out. And I've always learned that if you ever going to be a player that gets better in practice, it requires your teammates to go hard against you. And they were going hard against one another. Like they had, I just quote tweeted Jimmy Wyatt's tweet about them doing bull rush setting and stuff like that. And you can see guys forcibly pulling the tension rope backwards while they're also getting pushed too. I was impressed. You heard one sound out there each rep.
Basically, for people who haven't seen that video, you can obviously check it out on Twitter, but you've got people on one side of the field. There are two guys engaged in a block together and an offensive lineman with a rope tied to his back, while another lineman who's tied to the end of that rope is walking to provide resistance the other direction. It genuinely looks like hell.
It is. And I've never seen, I said in my tweet, I've never seen this drill. I know it is. So the pulling is to make sure that you have body control. The pushing is to also allow you to feel resistance. And on top of that, they have like a 50-pound bag in their hand that they have to hold up too. So it is a lot of technique that in the times that I've been at their practices last year or the year before, I never saw this type of stuff. Again, it's all stuff that's going to be that you'll see in play. It's not like you're just doing dummy drills. I used to hate coaches that did like stupid drills. Like this wasn't that. And the other thing too is what you'll notice is other than I think Brown School, for the most part, everybody is young. And we hadn't really talked about that.
Yes.
But you know why you have to be able to craft a team like this as far as like the youth? Because you have a guy that's coming in and he's 32, 33 years old. The stuff that he's doing as an offensive line coach, I don't think you can get many vets to do that.
I was going to say 30 or younger.
Yeah, 30 or younger is where they are because he's reshaping and setting a precedent for what the expectation is going to be of that group. He came in, Coach Bill Callahan, I think, came in at a very intricate time into where this team can somewhat set a template for what offensive line play looks like moving forward. And I think you needed more of a youth movement to get this done than you did in saying, let's go sign some veteran guys. I get it now. Because we talked about, what was the guard from the Saints that we were talking about being brought here?
Andrews Pete.
I don't think he would have been wanting to do these individual drills.
Well, he's molding them.
He's molding
they're
them.
young. They're moldable. They're impressionable,
Bertha is heavy, but if you're an NFL football player, you should be able to move it. And like I said, it was a lot of football things. I saw a lot of technique. Will, Kayla, listeners, that I think you're going to see a huge benefit from with a Bill Callahan coached offensive line. And I get why he is this good. He has a system or a method that he knows at the end of the day, this is, and what's crazy about it too, let me get there, is it's simple. It's not overly complicated. And simplicity in what offensive line play is all about is what lets you do the most complex things. If I can break you down and tell you, hey, this is how we move on combination blocks. This is how we also get up to the second level to block linebackers. This is also what it looks like to pass set in our offense. It was really, really unique and aggressive and fast and nonstop. I saw some hands on hips yesterday, and I heard some cursing. I heard some, hey, why are we doing it like this? I saw some reteaching of things, man. The dudes that a lot of folks were concerned about, I know it's probably the question of Radens. Of course, you want to know about Bronsko, Peter. All those guys look good yesterday. I saw specific coaching of one of those players. I'm not sure if I can say on air, but Coach Bill Callahan was really in tune to one of the guys that are fighting for the right guard spot. And I think it's he know what he's going to get.
I think you can say that.
Yeah, it was just the drill that Jimmy Wyatt posted. Ratings. So one thing we've been talking about is not getting pushed into the quarterback, right? Or pressure is a part of it. That's what the drill is all about.
Callahan talked about yesterday the triangle and how important it is, for that to be formed.
The integrity of the pocket.
He talked a whole bunch about that yesterday.
So that's what that drill was for. It's the pulling you to make you. It's the pulling you to make you feel like, all right, I know what to be engaged about. The pushing to let you feel the bull rush. So one thing we saw last year was Dillard, and the year before that, Dennis Daly get pushed into the quarterbacks. That drill that Jimmy Wyatt posted is to feel what a bull rush is supposed to feel like in real time. And I think that's one thing that he's going to fix more and more is how do we bull, hop, stop? That's what it says. It's hop, hop, hop. It's basically what you're seeing in that drill work right there. The quicker you hop and get your feet down, the better it is for you to stop the defensive lineman's bull rush, because I think that's the way this offense is going to be comprised, is to stop guys at the line of scrimmage, give the quarterback room to throw.
That's exactly what he said.
But Dylan Radin's left foot kept coming back. Like you're supposed to hop symmetrically, like both feet move back at the same time. And one of his legs was coming back further than the other. He's like, that's how you get pushed into the quarterback. You get walked back. I need you to be hopping back. And that was something that he made him go again. And I was just like, oh, so you're really coaching Radins. And again, when you have a guy that hadn't really played interior like that over the long haul and probably hadn't been taught how to stop a bull rush properly, these are the things that you're getting out of this coach, to where you say, at the end of the day, I have equipped you. You know what my standard of play is to be able to stop a bull rush, and this is how you do it.
Right.
If you don't do it, we were doing the drill over. Like, he was one of the guys that had to go over in that one right there. And it was funny. We've all heard about how strong he is, the young rookie, J.C. Latham. And that drill, he wasn't moving.
So Brian Callahan talked about J.C. Latham yesterday. Kayla asked the question about how he carries himself specifically. I thought this was one of the better, more insightful answers from Brian Callahan yesterday.
Yeah, he doesn't carry himself like a rookie, which is always a good thing. He's very intentional about his work. He works really hard. He spends a lot of time on this. I think he understands, which not all rookies understand, that it is a job. And there's an expectation, especially when you're drafted where he was drafted, that you got to come perform. And I think that he's aware of that. Not everybody always is. And he's got some maturity to him, but he's also has a youthful wonder that's kind of fun to be around. Everything's new to him. You know, there's just a lot, and he just loves playing football. And so there's this kind of enthusiasm that he carries with him around the field that I think is fantastic. And he's getting better with the techniques. You know, I think it's going to be really fun to see where he ends up between now and the next couple of weeks. And then when training camp starts, when the pads come on, that's we're going to find out a whole lot about a lot of people when training camp starts. So I think he's making the right progress, but I think as you guys talk to him too, you enjoy his personality. He's made of the right stuff, and he works really hard. So those two things are a good start for him.
Youthful wonder is how I start the morning every day.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a youthful wonder until pads come on, I would imagine, as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to comment on that, because I asked Brian Callahan the question, because in the small amount that we've been out there, I have seen, though, that he sticks out amongst everyone.
JC?
He sticks out. I don't care what you say. And he even sticks out in terms of other positions. Like, there's something about him that he is a rookie. I get that. And there's a lot of work to be done once the pads come up. Absolutely. But just the way he, like Callahan said, carries himself out there in all of those drills that he does over there with the offensive line, he seems to just be leading the way.
Yeah,
and
he's up front first.
He is. And Bertha and Olga, those have been challenges, but for the most part, he's starting to work those guys or gals, whatever you want to say.
Sleds. I don't know if they have genders.
Right. They better not have a gender.
But a little comedy for you this morning. But even like, you know, when Callie was talking, I think it was Callie, J.C. Latham comes up behind one of the reporters yesterday and is just kind of like listening in and, you know, having fun with it.
Right.
Like, this guy is, the more I think about them drafting him over some of these other guys that could have been there, the more I'm thinking, like, this could really be a long-term home run for this organization. And yeah, it has to happen with the pads on and in games.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But I'm telling you, just seeing somebody like that in the past 8 years I've been here, specifically an offensive lineman, like, they haven't had anything remotely close.
To a young guy. And Taylor was here before you.
And Taylor was already here 4 years in when I got here.
I'll say this about him, too. And as far as JC is concerned, to me, and I know this is a different eye lens, like the size thing, I don't see it. Like, I know he's a big individual, but like watching him on like at the practice field, like they say he's like 340-ish or whatever his weight is. I don't see it. Like, he looks like a normal human being. He looked like a regular offensive
He's
lineman.
athletic.
Yeah, he's
the way
super
he
athletic. But my thing was like, I think people are expecting to see like this giant like Shrek type of an individual. He's just towering over everybody. He's not. He's just got a big presence, to your point. And you understand that like this is just a rookie. He is a different type for just being a rookie. And the point of him just growing and being a pro, like, I'm with you. I do think the way they drafted a guy like him, it is a locker room culture setter more than I think they would ever say. Like, he is what they want the building to be like. And that, to that point, is what we've been hearing about the offense and the defensive side of things.
And he's not Isaiah Wilson.
Oh,
I think, and that's a very
sorry,
low bar.
I'm being rude, but
No, it's Isaiah Wilson sucked. He was terrible.
And he was lazy.
Like, he didn't contribute anything to this team. And at the very least, you don't have that personality in your newest mountain of an SEC tackle. Heck, J.C. Latham tweeted the other day, for all the young folks getting fly cars and whatnot, just be careful out there, not only for yourself, but others as well. Does that sound like Isaiah Wilson to you?
no, because he was doing the opposite.
He ain't
And
lying.
that's just a tweet that's obviously very out of context that I'm halfway sarcastic saying that, but
I think he's serious about it.
it's
Yeah,
still
he's
100% accurate that, like, I think you have a guy who legitimately cares about getting better on the practice field and at least understands that as a first-round pick, that doesn't guarantee that everything's just going to be handed to him.
No.
Like, I think we are setting now a very high expectation for J.C. Latham based on the way he's hit the ground running.
It ain't going to be perfect.
It's step one of a lot of steps just to even get to the season, but he has started off well. That's significant.
I was talking even to somebody from a different station yesterday. We were just engaging. Somebody from a different station.
Why would you do that?
Because I mean,
We don't talk to our.
Don't you dare give them any details.
No,
Just
but
kidding.
it was I was in my zone and we were talking about it, and I was just pointing out stuff like the whole one band one beat thing is what you're getting from this group. If we were ever worried about the offensive line progression, what is it supposed to look like? Having been in a system where you have a Hall of Fame style coach, this is what you're getting now. Like they will this group, if it continues and they draft the right talent and develop the right way, we'll have a nickname for this group. I don't even want to mention one.
Not yet.
Will's like,
And that's they got to go show and prove it. Like, we turned into the Goons in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
oh,
like-
was that your nickname? Okay.
Yeah, like it was. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this group will have a nickname before you know it, to where it's just like, okay, all right, this is
Too many nicknames.
this is cool. No,
Too many nicknames.
For the big
I just-
boys that get nothing.
I want to call Brian
want a
Callahan
nickname.
Brian Callahan. I want to call DeAndre Hopkins DeAndre Hopkins. Like, I don't. Drake
This
in
gonna be
Murfreesboro, 615-737-1045. What's up, Drake?
Hey, how are you guys this morning?
Good
Great.
morning.
Good. Hey, my question is for Ramon here. I was wondering how I was listening to Ron Sway yesterday, and how a Tennessee man like yourself gets lost going around town here. So I was just wanting to get your thoughts on that, and I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, thank you, Drake.
Well, he's
No,
not
it's a
from
great
this
question.
area.
Drake, man, I thought you did well in your battle against Kendrick Lamar. Okay, just so you
I
know that. Drake.
knew that was coming.
What a name right
But
there.
Drake, I took the wrong turn. The street that I was supposed to turn on, I took the other one that takes me right in front of the facility. There's a bridge that is cut off, and I wasn't computing right yesterday or the
Yeah.
day before.
The people
Or the
that
week before.
the people that correctly know how to get to practice, they're not like us. 615-737-1045 is our number, and coming up, we'll tell you who was not there at practice yesterday, including a couple of new additions. That's next.